It's been a while since you called on my phone. 24/7, I've been doing this all on my own. I can't lie, sometimes it's hard for me just being alone. Missing you being here, it's not enough to say in a song.
I'm gonna show you how you can make a cheaper quality sounding microphone sound way higher, like studio quality. And so obviously you're gonna need a decent sounding microphone. If you don't have that, then you're cooked, bro. Like, you're done. You want to get something kind of like this. This is called the AKG P120, and it's way more affordable than like majority of the microphones out there. It's only $130 for me, and the one that I actually used to use for all of my preset videos is the AKG P220. You can also get like the AT2020, which is also a really good cheap microphone, and you can get like the Focusrite Solo or like whatever. The one that I'm using right now is the SSL2 interface, which is definitely more money than the Focusrite Scarlett, but as long as you got like a decent PC that can like run basic applications, then you'll be good. The next thing you need to worry about is your performance. Like, literally a good performance. Like, if you have a bad performance, you're not going to be able to save that from good mixing. You got to be able to like somewhat sing. Like, if you use auto-tune mainly, especially, like, the better the performance is when you're like singing into the auto-tune, the better like it's gonna turn out in the mix. And so what you want to do is make sure your distance is good. So what I use is like the telephone thing. You put your pinky on top of the mic, and then you just keep it normal, and where your thumb is where you should put your mouth at. So you're not like all the way in the mic like this, but you're not, you know, all the way back here. And then you also want to make sure your volume on your interface is turned down. Like, you don't want it talking level, you want it to be turned down at least like a little bit less than halfway. I'm pretty sure this is like a real studio. You look at all this equipment, like all these like compressors and EQs and like preamps and stuff going into this, and then the mic is usually like $1,000 freaking dollars or something. Like, it's insane. And like, this is what it takes for like a professional recording studio. That's why like your stuff doesn't sound exactly the same as their stuff. When you're setting up your recording environment, you want to make sure that you have some acoustic foam panels, or like, you know, like one of them chaotic eyeball type of things, about like $30 or $40, but it's definitely worth the investment. Or if you're in an environment where it's like it's super echoey, that's like literally what this is for. And then what you do is just turn the volume in the slider up, so that way it boosts the volume in here and doesn't clip or anything, because that'll just make the whole thing sound like trash, like the whole thing. And so as you can see, I don't have any like professional plugins or paid plugins or anything. It's literally just stock, like Maximus, Fruity EQ. Like, this one I made myself actually, but it's literally just 2 compressors. Like, that's it. I'm gonna show you exactly what the mix sounds like. I'm gonna turn the effects off.
24/7, I've been doing this all on my own. I can't lie, sometimes it's hard for me just being alone. Missing you being here, it's not enough to say in a song.
You can hear the difference, bro. Like, it's such a drastic. So if you don't want to do it yourself, you can click the link in the description. You know, all of this, yada yada yada. You can see all this, whatever this is about. It has all my plugins, all my presets, like everything you need basically. But for those that want to do it themselves, this is literally my like perfect vocal chain. So right here, I put a Maximus. This is literally a de-esser. A lot of people don't know how to properly de-ess in FL Studio, and that's understandable. Literally, all you got to do is go to de-essing, go to narrow band, boom. Okay, turn off the low band, turn the compression off, and then on the high band, turn the compression off, and now you just have this middle band right here. You just drag it to like the higher end, like 5K to 10K ish. Usually I start with like 7K. Use your ears for this, by the way. You can just click right here to solo it. And you can actually turn this right here. This button right here makes it so you can see the waveform. It's like, oh no, we don't want that. That is way too harsh. And this is actually where you adjust like the compression for it. So literally you just drag this one left and right until you get something that you want, or like up and down as well.
It's been a while since you called on my phone. 24/7, I've been doing this all on my own. I can't lie, sometimes it's hard for me just being alone. Missing you being here, it's not enough to say in a song. Sometimes I wanna do you think of me too.
See, now we got it like at a point where it's like, okay, like it's not too de-essy or it's not like too harsh. It's like just enough to where it's like just taking the harshness out. And for the EQ, all you want to make sure you're doing is cutting out the lows, that bass, the unwanted bass. I usually do like 100 to 140. And then all of these right here, they're subtractive EQs. So we're doing literally just taking out the stuff that we don't want. And you'll be able to tell, like, pretty much most of the time, if you boost it up halfway, don't do it all the way because everything's going to sound trash. Just boost them up halfway. You see where it says like 24% underneath the hertz. You can scroll up and down on the scroll wheel. And I usually go for like 10 to like 15 to 20-ish%. Just so I'm getting enough, and I usually do it like way more in the lower-ish range.
It's been a while since you called on my phone. 24/7, I've been doing this all on my own.
You can use like the top left hint panel to see how much decibel you want to take out, but I usually do it around halfway because that's like 3 to 4 decibels, and you know, you don't want to take out too much or else you're going to completely kill your voice. Like, just imagine if this whole thing, like, there was just no EQ at all, and you just brought every single one of them down. Like, there would literally, your voice would literally be gone. So you just take enough out to where you're cutting out the bad stuff and keeping more of the good stuff.
It's been a while since you called on my phone. 24/7, I've been.
The more you learn how to mix, you're gonna figure out what you don't like and what you like. And then another technique you can do is also like sweep down. So you don't go all the way, but like you go down here to see like what you don't like. If you bring it down, you'll be able to tell like, okay, I actually like this, how this sounds when I take it out. And the last two, you can actually have 2 EQs, like one for cutting and one for boosting. But you know, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. I could just have it on one. And the last two, this is what I use to boost the stuff that I do like. And usually this is always in like the higher end band, like. You're not boosting, you're not gonna like really boost this. This is just for like the clarity or like the presence. That's, you can kind of see right here, it says presence, high, mid. And you just sweep for stuff that you like.
It's been a while since you called on my phone.
You can see it like opens the vocals up.
It's been a while since you called on my phone. 24/7, I've been doing it.
The trick with boosting is that you don't want to do it too much or it's gonna literally just sound like it's freaking cutting your eardrums out. You want to do it just very slightly. Just enough to where it's bringing a little bit. You always never want to take out too much of anything or boost too much of anything. You want to make sure this is all like complementing each other, you know, kind of like a puzzle piece. Like one piece of the puzzle is not gonna, you know, fit the whole frame. That's why you have so many pieces that like, you know, connect together. So this plugin makes it really simple to use. Like you don't have to, you know, learn this, but I'm gonna show you anyways. So the threshold is basically where it cuts off. So if I'm going super loud, it's gonna reduce the volume of like when I get super loud, but whenever I'm like talking low, it's not gonna do anything. The attack, that's the start of the phrase. So when you have this higher, that means that you're letting the vocals breathe a little bit in the beginning instead of just like squashing it and like cutting it off instantly. And then the release, this is like the end of what you're saying. So I usually have this like 200, 300. But use your ears when you mix. Don't like just go off of these numbers. It's not going to be the same for you. The ratio is basically saying however many decibels come in, like in the microphone, which is basically just like the volume, like how loud something gets. And so for every 8 decibels, increase it by 1 is basically what it's saying. So you can do this like for anything. So for every 6, increase it by 6. And you can use this like pretty much just to guide like how balanced you want your vocals to be. And I usually keep it around 8 to like 7. I don't really like see that much of a difference. And then the gain, that's literally just the volume. And then the type right here, you can literally just mess with this and see what you get. But sometimes I'll use it like medium or vintage and then use these R. Like I don't really know what the heck that is, but a bit harder, like mediumer, like softer. And now the multiband compression is literally the same thing as, just imagine if an EQ and a compressor had a baby. Like this is literally what it would look like. And you can see like the range right here, the low band, mid band, and the high band. So the lows, like the bass in your voice. The mids is like the clarity type, the body of your voice, like what makes your voice like. And then the high band is like the presence, like how, you know, clear you want it to sound, how crispy you want it to sound. And so literally all you have to do pretty much is mess with the gain on all these. You can see I put the gain for the mids a little bit more. I put the gain for the lows like a little bit less. Just depends on your needs, by the way. And then the high band, I turned it up a little bit to bring a little bit more like high end, and I'll show you again. I'll play another example. So when I take the mids out, like you can literally tell like your voice is gone pretty much. You can also mess with these. This is literally just like the range of each band. You got the low band, you got the mid band, and the high band, all in order. So you can literally just move these sliders around to see like exactly what area you want to affect. So that way, like if you cut this down, that means when you turn the gain up on the low band, it's literally only going to select that area pretty much. So what I like to think of these modes is A is more like a clear sounding, more open, like present sounding. B is more like a muffled. C is more of like a body thing, like it has more width in it. And so if your vocals don't really have too many mids in it, then you can use the C and it makes it sound way better. But I personally use A because I already have like plenty in there. And then D is like, it's like C, but it's slightly more muffled. And you never really want to have this all the way like to the max. Like, have you ever seen like the Soundgardizer chain with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Usually you can add like a little bit, or you can like bring it like halfway like I did. I usually keep it around this range though. And then we got the blood overdrive, which is literally just distortion. And you might be thinking like, bro, why are you adding, like, you're not really supposed to have distorted vocals, right? But it actually adds like loudness to it. It adds color to it when you do it slightly. And, you know, don't crank it to the max, because it's not adding like a crazy amount of like it's just only a little bit. This is just basically a stereo widener. It makes it so like it's more wide. I'm gonna just bypass it real quick. Sometimes I wonder, do you think of me too? Like it kind of sounds like boring, you know, kind of bland. And then when I turn it on, sometimes I wonder. And so in the flangus, I turn the delay all the way down, turn the cross all the way down, turn the dry and the wet a little bit more. You don't even have to mess with any of the rest of this stuff. Turn the spread all the way up. But the main thing you want to be using is the mix knob. And so next we have a noise gate. All you have to do is just come here, click on the noise gate, and then boom, like just mess with the setting on the threshold. And you can even mess with the release and the gain a little bit, but the threshold is like the main thing. So you don't want to have it all the way up there, obviously. Just a little bit, just so it's cutting out the background noise, but it's not cutting out your word. And then the next thing is the delay. I use the delay 3 and the reverb 2, and it's literally all you need pretty much. Like there is free plugins out there and like paid plugins that are probably better, but like, I mean, the average listener is not gonna care, bro. Like, come on. So I keep it on tempo sync, keep pitch. So the tempo sync is literally just like when you put the tempo of the beat in there, like you don't have to like put it in there, like it matches it to the tempo perfectly. You could do 2 to have it way faster. It just depends on what type of delay you want. And I put it on ping pong too, so it like goes left and right in your headphones, which actually like it definitely makes it a little bit more immersive rather than just have it like stereo. The level is literally how much, like how long it's gonna last too. So how much delay you want in a way. The cutoff and the resolution is basically just an EQ for the delay and the tone. This is all 3 of these are just literally EQ for the delay. And I like to have my tone a little bit lower, like a little bit more muddier compared to the actual vocal, so that way it's like standing out. You can also use the saturation right here. Now the reverb. Now the reverb is literally like kind of what makes it put. The reverb is basically what puts everything together. It's kind of like the glue, like, you know, your vocals don't want to be too dry. Like if you ever ate like chicken or something like that, you know, you don't want it to be too dry. You know, you want it to be like, you know, kind of like a little bit like moist, you know what I'm saying? And what I like to do is make the reverb, cut out the bass on the reverb.
It's been a while since you called on my phone.
And then the high cut, like literally just turn this up a little bit. That's all you need. Turn the decay up if you want it to last longer. The bass, you don't really need to mess with that, but that just makes it sound a little bit more full reverb. And then the separation, kind of like it's literally just doing like that flangus effect. It makes it wider. That it also kind of separates the reverb from your vocal, so it's not like attached to it in a way. And I just turn the wet up a little bit, the ER up a little bit, and then which is ear reflection level, and then the dry a little bit. But if you are using this on a separate bus, which you can do, it's way better to do it that way anyways. All you have to do is put this on a separate track, and then you see at the bottom right here, click back on the main one, and then you route it to that, right? So let's say I have like this reverb send right here. And then what you want to do is turn the dry all the way down, so it's just the wet. So go back in here and turn the dry all the way down, because you don't want it to be affecting the vocal anymore. You just want it to be the reverb itself. And then you can mess with the size. You turn the size up a little bit to increase like how big you want the reverb to be. This is literally the size. They can, like, you can do it yourself too. And you know, and that's like literally my best advice for if you're trying to learn how to mix. Like, the best way I learned how to mix was literally making vocal presets myself. Like the performance and like everything. I know there's definitely free stems out there you can like practice mixing vocals on too, or you can even like practice mixing like your friend's songs or whatever. But you literally like search through all these plugins, all the stock ones, and you see like, how can I replicate that exact mix or that exact sound, or like what are they doing, you know? And you just go through each plugin and like kind of master it in a way, you know? But that's kind of what I did with the presets, with my presets especially, is I literally just went through like, spent so many hours perfecting these presets. And fun fact, this is literally the same exact chain that I throw on my ad-libs. The only difference with the ad-libs is that I turn this EQ at the bottom down a little bit. Like, I'll turn the low end and the high end down a little bit, and then I'll boost the mid. So I'll just like go here, like select wherever I want to boost. And this is how you get like the telephone effect, by the way. You just boost it up a little bit, kind of like 2 to 3K range. And then you get that effect. It's easy. And then I always, on the ad-libs, I turn up the delay and I turn up the reverb just a little bit. And then I turn the time up faster. So I'll turn it up to like 2. I hope this video helped you out somehow. Let me know if it did. And if you have any questions, I'll reply to them in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in another video.